entitled The Little Way of St. Therese and the Experience of Prayer. Okay, and once again, thank you very much to Maria Toole and to the entire prayer group for inviting me to give these talks. So because I see so many new faces here tonight, I'm going to give a very brief summary of what I taught last week. And I think our numbers are like double tonight, so this is great. Like Maria said, I'm a convert to the faith. I had a faith conversion in 1989 at the age of 17, but 2 years later I converted to the Catholic Church and came into the fullness of the faith. Last week we defined many of the terms of prayer from the Catechism. We got definitions about praise, meditation, contemplation. We talked about how God is the goal and the end of the little way. Everything St. Therese taught and lived, God is the ultimate goal. And she says herself, it is the way of spiritual childhood, the way of trust and absolute surrender. So what we did too is we gave many Old Testament passages that Therese used as the foundation for the little way. These were passages that she used, and actually there's a handout that has some of those passages listed. She was also very familiar with the New Testament passages. We discussed that you have to understand God's nature of love and mercy in order to understand the little way. And if somebody sees God as a harsh judge, and somebody who's just looking to find everything you're doing wrong, a severe God, you're not really going to understand the heart of the little way. So we talked about that. We talked about how the little way isn't just doing little things for God, although that's a part of it, but it's more an attitude. It's a disposition of littleness and trust in God completely. And Therese basically, she formed a prayer called her Oblation of Merciful Love in 1895. And this was a great prayer that the Lord gave her, that she prayed from her heart. And it basically summarized all the things that she learned about the little way. And it's actually a prayer that I pray on a daily basis, and I highly recommend it to anybody. So, okay, here we launch into part 2. So, manuscript B is actually one of the hearts of the little way. It gives a synopsis of the teaching. When we look at the story of Saul, which is Therese's autobiography, it's not just one book. It's basically 3 different manuscripts that were addressed to 3 different people in 3 different years. Part A, manuscript A, was addressed to her blood sister, Mother Agnes, in 1895, and that covered her childhood up until like her entry in the Carmel. Manuscript B was written to another blood sister, Maria of the Sacred Heart, and that was a letter that she wrote to her sister in 1896 to address, her sister wanted to know, you're so close to God, you're so close to Him, you know so much, please let me in on the action, tell me about some of this. And Therese's letter is a response to that. Manuscript C was written in the last year of her life, 1897, and that was written to Mother Maria de Gonzague, and it basically covered her religious life, almost up until the time of her death. So Father Conrad de Meester, who's one of the world's foremost experts on St. Therese, in his book Power of Confidence, calls manuscript B the major document about spiritual childhood. And it's ranked by theologians as one of the greatest documents in all of Christian spirituality. It's only 13 pages long, so it's really jam-packed with good stuff. And Therese in manuscript B starts off by talking about a dream that she has. She's dreaming and she sees 3 Carmelites walking toward her with their veils down, and she doesn't really know what this means. And then suddenly she becomes aware that the tallest of the 3 is Venerable Anne of Jesus. Now, Venerable Anne of Jesus was a companion of Teresa of Avila, and also the Carmelite who brought the Carmelite spirituality from Spain to France in the 1500s. So Therese asks Venerable Anne of Jesus in this dream, Mother, tell me further if God is not asking something more from me than my poor little actions and desires. Is He content with me? Venerable Anne responded, God asks no other thing from you. He is content, very content. Now, we know as Christians that sometimes dreams you have to take them with a grain of salt. You know, psychologists will say their thing about dreams. But the church has put her stamp of approval on all of this, and we can be well assured that what she spoke was true.